All right, in this video, we're going to be going over a quick warm-up to get ready for your workout. So if you have any foam rolling protocols or lacrosse ball massage releases, you're going to do those first. Following that, we're going to get into some mobilization and some activation. So for our mobilization, we're starting on the ground with our breathing drills. So we're working down to our back, lying down flat, nice deep inhale, exhale, every last bit of air out. Imagine you're blowing through a straw, putting a hole in the ceiling. Core should be on fire. And then once you've held for 3 seconds at that maximum exhale, big inhale. And then one more time. All the way out. Get that big inhale after the 3-second hold. Then you're going to work your way up to kneeling. So we're going into a half kneeling position, or an all fours position. Nice double hip width stance with the feet. Toes are tucked under. So I'm in this toes tucked under position, nice and wide. Feet are out as wide as the knees. You're going to inhale, sit the hips back, and making sure we're not getting any tucking under as you sit back. So inhale, sit the hips back. Exhale, contract pelvic floor, lower core, pull forward. Going through 5 reps here, feeling where you're tight. So do the bottoms of your feet feel tight? Do you feel tightness in the groin? Is there any pinching in the front of the hip? Any low back tightness? Basically, we're just making sure everything feels good. And if you notice anything tight, you can do some specific mobility for that or ask a coach. So for me, I happen to feel tight in the groin, but this is also where we're going. So we're going into a nice wide stance with the foot. This forearm pushes out on the inner thigh. And we're doing circles, opening up that hip joint. So this should feel like a combination of a stretch and a little bit of movement. Continuing to breathe through this, make sure you're not holding your breath. Once you've done that side, switching sides. Time length for this one, you can go longer or shorter. It's a little bit more flexible. If you feel good with a nice deep stretch there, you can do a little bit of PNF, which is where you contract the muscle and then relax. So I'm going to contract, pull in as if I'm trying to pull my knee in, but I'm resisting with my arm, and then relax, sink a little bit deeper. Mixing in a few different techniques, some circles. Then I'm going to come up to the squat. So you toes if your hips or if your ankles, calves are tight, or you might be able to sit down to the heels, just opening up those hips, trying to get nice and tall through the spine. So as much as possible, avoiding that rounding. Assuming there's no knee pain here or no back pain, rotate through a few of these. If you do feel knee or back pain, you can just do a standing variation. Same idea, but just a little bit higher. And we're just getting some movement in the hips, in the hip joints. Working our way down to the ground. We're doing 90-90 pose here. So 90 degrees, 90 degrees. And we're swiveling. And you'll feel a bit of a massage on the glutes through the floor. And we're getting, again, some movement through the hips. Option from here. Your way down. It's variation, so definitely an option to just go now. If you're feeling any excess pressure, you do have the option as well to just go lying down. Let the legs fall to one side, let the legs fall to the other side. Again, noticing if there's any specific tightness. So for me, I didn't foam roll today. I happen to feel tight in the quads. So that tells me I should do a little bit of foam rolling before my workout. So we're getting a good idea of what's going on with the body. And then we're moving on to our rows. So just pumping out some reps. Go to a relatively easy difficulty where you could do 20 or 25 reps. And we're just getting the back activated, making sure the core is turned on, making sure I'm breathing through it. And as I'm doing my reps, I'm squeezing those upper back muscles so I'm not pulling through to excessive forward rounding. Keeping up nice and tall. Are looking at the top of the, going through those reps. And then basically just getting that general warm-up. So I've got the muscles moving. Finally, to finish off, we're going to do quadrant rolls. And we're just doing the upper body for today. You have the option to do the lower body, which I'll demonstrate if you have more time. So I'm looking up at the fingers. Reach, 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 reach. At this point where I start to feel that stretch or that challenge, I'm going to make sure that I slow down, keep the legs heavy. So this leg's going to want to help. I'm going to let it stay heavy. And I'm reaching across as if there's somebody that I'm reaching towards, trying to reach their hand. Eyes are following the fingers. And then I'm reversing my path, reaching backwards again, getting to that sticking point where it's nice and tight, and I'm going to feel that stretch there. And then let myself fall over, and then repeating the opposite direction. Reach, 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 reach. If you ever notice this is excessively challenging, you probably forgot to put your arm up overhead. And then reversing path. I can push my hand that's on the ground into the ground to create more stability. So for me, I feel a big stretch through the left side as I do this. And depending on what's tight that day, you may feel one side tighter than the other. And then doing the legs, same idea, starting with knee bent, reaching over. As I get to this end, I'm kicking out. And then as I come back, kicking up with the glutes. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Trying to go nice and slow. Feel that stretch. And then opposite side, same thing. Reaching, option for the head to come up if it needs to. And then reverse the path. Reaching around. Coming up to standing. Just checking out how you feel. Do you feel kind of opened up? Stuff's nice and loose and moving. And then finally, to finish off, if we want a last little bit of extra activation to really make sure the posterior chain or the muscles in the back of the body that tend to be underactive are firing, I'm going to do some hamstring curls, glute kickbacks, and an upper back activation. So for hamstring curls, squeezing, and only going down to where the tension relaxes a little bit, making sure those hamstrings are firing like crazy. Anywhere from 5 to 15 reps, depending on how difficult it is. Switching sides. And just watching for the hips lifting, making sure that's not happening. Keep those hips pushed into the floor. And also watch for the toes rotating outwards. That's going to use a different part of the back of the thigh, so we want to make sure we keep that toe pointed straight. And then if you feel too much calf muscle, just making a point of letting that foot relax so that you feel more hamstring. So if you're pulled to here, you might feel too much calf, so you can just let it relax, point upwards, and you'll tend to feel more hamstring. For our glute kickback, using the band in the same position, just over the heel, hand on the post for a counterbalance, and then I'm just kicking backwards. Squeeze that glute. And then likewise the opposite way, or the other leg. And you have the option of crossbody like this. So I personally like crossbody, so I'm using opposite hand and foot to get that extra activation. Or you can do same side if you find you've got better stability there. Along with this, we're also getting some single leg balance practice on the other foot, which is also great for activating glute medius and our general balance muscles. And then finishing off, we're bringing that band up to the top. So somewhere chest height or above, and I'm doing reverse flies with the band. I want to find equal tension, lots of slack in the middle, and I'm squeezing back with the shoulders, getting those upper back muscles activated. So we're squeezing back in a circular motion. I'm imagining I'm tracing a semicircle with my arms, palms open, getting that good squeeze. And that's it. After that, you should feel like the muscles are firing, you're nice and open. Feel free to add in some just general movement, just make sure everything's good, and we should feel mobile, active, and ready to work out.